Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Dai Good Talk. I am Ripka and we have some very special guests tonight and I'll allow them to introduce themselves. We have...
I am Kanisha Forsyth Critchlow.
Eva Marie Sharma.
And Sharice Haynes.
So Sharice, tell us a bit about your organization, your company, your enterprise. You could just describe it as you see appropriate. Tell us.
All right. So first of all, we belong to a movement. This is ministry. All right. And the name of it is Faith Over Feelings. So what we do, we provide high value mentorship for women. Because why? Women desire high value men. But no man desires a low value woman.
Correct.
No, I thought.
So we have to bring a woman from one state to a higher state to be able to attract and enjoy the relationships that she wants to enjoy, and of course a life that she wants to enjoy.
Let's define high value. When you say, okay, now there's two sides of the coin.
Correct.
High value men, high value women. What do you define as high value?
For me, my thing about it is it's relative, right? Because it depends on what you want. However, the way society has it set up, most of the women out here now are speaking about high value from the term of finances. But that's not all. We need a man to be emotionally intelligent. We need him to have good leadership skills. Does he know how to lead the home? So those things are also a part of high value. It's not just about money, because you can have money and then what else?
Yes. And
Right?
I just want to reel it back, you have to have a value system. And when I say a value system, for me, it is that I don't need a pastor as a man, but you need to serve, you need to believe in something higher than yourself. You need to
Right.
know that it's not you orchestrating
So
the
it
show.
can't be self-serving.
No.
Right.
Obviously, because in reality, a man that knows where he needs to go to, his source, his higher value source, he becomes high value, and then everything else flows through that.
Right.
You know, high value, as Kanisha would have mentioned, could be tangible, but could be relative, but it's really not from our idea of it. Is not something tangible, right? Tangibility comes, but that's not where it begins. So you have to have some level of value system. You can't just be going about life all over the place. That's not high value. And for me, as I say, I don't need it to be a pastor, but thank
You
you
must have a
God
source.
that I wake up today. Yeah,
Right.
that's where the high value comes from. And then all of those other things, as we believe, everything else will be added. Seek ye first, and everything else, like the emotional intelligence, the leadership skills, it will be added.
Oh, okay.
So let me answer now.
Right.
Because I know there was going to be a lot of word purge when it comes to high value man. So I can just say it real simple in three ways I can break it down for me personally. One, a high value man is a high spirited man. And that ties in basically what she was just saying, right? So it means that you are yielded to the official leader so that you can now lead properly.
Right.
Right? One. Two, you must have purpose.
Yeah.
You must be clear as to what your assignment, why you were born, why you put here on this earth. Because if it is your assignment, then you know why you need a helper.
Right.
That's when you're looking for a woman now, instead of looking for a woman first and then trying to figure out life.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're high value, so you need a high value helper. Right? And the third thing that really makes a high value man stand out is his capability on how you need to be loved. He is able to do that.
Provide that.
Because
Provision.
everyone is so different when it comes to what it is will make them satisfied, when it comes to being appreciated and loved, and that expression being transferred onto them. So therefore, how is your way of feeling loved? That high value man will be the one to help you
To
to
satisfy
make you
that.
feel that fulfillment in terms of
Correct.
appreciation and love, because not everyone could do it. So he's high value to you.
To you.
Right. Okay.
And then the thing about it is to add to that, in terms of a high value man, as she spoke about having purpose and yielding to the power beyond you, right? When you have high value, the finances and everything else comes because
Yes.
you know what your purpose is. And you understand that there's something bigger than you. And because you are high value in terms of understanding your purpose, your leadership is different. So
Correct.
it is super easy for a woman to submit to
Yes.
you. So
Yep.
we have this dialogue now.
Because
of,
she's not feeling like
submit,
a man.
submit. if you are a high value man, and we're not just basing it only on finances, because here's the truth: if you know your purpose, finances will come.
Amen.
Right? So if it is you understand what it is to lead, my darling, a woman would follow you. You ever see two people dancing, long time when you go to those places and they have the backing times, and you see a man that knows how to lead a woman,
right.
and she eat this and that, he carrying up
The
from
gliding.
here to
The
there.
gliding.
Yeah, correct.
And the reason why he could take that woman from here to there is because he understands his purpose,
His
and the flow,
role.
and he knows how to function on that floor. So what that means is she trusts him, so she just allows him to lead the
correct.
way
Right.
without any hesitation. So once you know what your purpose is, it is easy for a woman to follow you.
Okay.
And they will want to.
Right.
Willingly.
It's nice.
Willingly.
Yes.
So just close my eyes and say, take me, baby.
Baby. Put back in the
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, yes, we talk about high value, and I love what Cherie said in terms of the women now, high value man, and I don't know how this is going to be received, and I'm not really trying to degrade anybody, but the sad thing is, and the harsh reality is, we have a lot of guzumpengs out there.
Ooh.
Right?
Riffraffs. We call them riffraffs
Money
here.
too.
Yeah,
We call them riffraffs here.
Yeah, you wrap up all how, and you're saying to yourself, I want a man with a house and this and that, and
But
he
before
have
you
the
reach there,
thing in check.
Let's touch
I'm not
in.
gonna say-
Let's touch in
Yeah.
with what is a high value woman.
Not a
Right.
guzumpeng.
Wow. No riffraffs.
No riff-raff.
Right. So let's get into it. What do we define as a high value woman?
Let me give you one. Okay, go ahead.
So again, we would still want to maintain that is also relative, right? I have to say this, and God said it is not good for a man to be alone, so he'll create a helper,
Right.
right? A high value woman would,
Can't be helpless.
she definitely cannot be helpless. Her role would be really birthed based on her union, right? But a high value woman by herself needs to be able to be a helper. And when God said he would create her as a helper, you just go for somebody, you would go to someone less than for help, if you understand where I'm coming from. So you have to have all these qualities. You have to know how to communicate well, respond well, handle business well, because nobody don't want an airy fairy at the end of the day. Despite we have the whole
Soft life.
no, minus the
Princess?
soft life.
A trophy
No,
wife
minus
or
the
what?
trophy wife. There was this thing the other day with the girl who work in Home Depot and men would rat. That is a myth.
No, it have some men that love that.
I think it's not about Home Depot. It's about the femininity. It's about
The softness that
allowing a man
need.
to be a man. It's about needing his presence. And the women who tend to be ambitious and have the career going on,
Have
sometimes
this, I don't need a
Could
man.
have
Thank
it, could
you.
get it
Could-
tied
could-
up.
could
So
get
it's not
really
about having a woman
tense.
from Home
Yes.
Depot. It's
Right.
just the
But yeah,
attitude
the
that is
softness.
attached to it.
Yes.
Right.
Because men love to
Or the
feel
dependency
needed,
that
the
comes
dependency. Because
with having less.
Correct.
Or
I would say the tone of
Earning
voice
less.
because they
Yes.
don't want the woman who has who has less,
right.
but they want the attitude
Yeah.
of the woman who has less.
Right.
that kind of soft, delicate, nurturing
A flower.
kind of attitude. So it's like, the other day when we had that meet and greet, like I would have said to the women, Esther, when she needed to approach the king to speak on behalf of the Jews,
She was sweet.
She was sweet, and she said, if it so ever pleases you, my king. A man want to hear that from his woman.
Okay, I have a question. I'm gonna.
But I ain't get to answer.
Yes,
True,
go ahead,
because
sorry.
we still
Yeah, I
want to
didn't
know
get
what
to
is the
answer.
definition of the high,
High value
value.
woman.
Right. All right, so for me, a high value woman, God gave me this answer directly. Faith. You have to have a good relationship with him. You must be able to hear from him, take guidance from him. God is a big part of your life, right?
Yeah.
Finance. You don't have to be wealthy, but you need to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. You need to be able to manage money because you want a man with money.
Yeah.
You need to have discipline when it comes to splurges, when it comes to budgeting. So finances are a big thing. Fitness. Nobody wants someone who's unhealthy. You need to at least be able to rear children. And, it might seem like, well, duh. No, PCOS is a very big thing.
Yeah.
So many issues with the womb. Why? What are you eating? What are you not doing?
Yeah.
Where are you going? How are you not exercising? How are you taking care of yourself? So fitness is a big part as well. Fashion, you want a high value man and you don't want to be a high value woman because you think you're okay. The choices that you're making in terms of your appearance, your hairstyle, your color, your makeup, the clothes, how are you dressing to go and talk to men?
Yeah. Time and place.
Fashion, right? Friendship, you don't know how to communicate, you don't know how to have a good time, you don't know how to relax and heal from all your traumas. And a high value woman is a healed woman.
Yeah, definitely.
And family, you have to learn submission.
Yeah.
It don't come natural. It doesn't come natural. And I believe that the higher the woman is, the higher the value of the woman is the bigger the lesson is going to be for submission.
Yeah.
So let's I like
That submission would rub your boy.
But and I
And
need
make him
to,
feel a kind of way.
yeah, I need
I
to
have to
plug it
summarize.
in right there that just as how Sharice would have discussed it in those
Categories.
categories, that is exactly what we do at Faith Over Feelings. Those are the pain points we are, and I would say
Focusing
or
on.
pressure points that
points.
we focus on to be able to take you from zero to shiro and be a, that,
zero to shiro. That's his tagline there.
No,
Zero
it's
to
not,
shiro.
it's not, no, it's not.
Oh, okay.
But you
Is it
know,
growing? Is it developing?
yeah, no, I'm working on it.
But you know, even with the thing in terms of a high value woman, the sad thing about it is, I mean, now on social media, what we are seeing with these young ladies in terms of
What they accepting.
we ain't talking about what they're accepting, we talking about what they're giving.
Well, that too.
Right? And what they expect from a man, it
Yes.
is absolutely
Crazy.
spectacular. Because as Shuri said, you know, you need to be able to cultivate the home in terms of family oriented, understanding how to submit, understanding how to cultivate relationships, understanding how to manage money. You know, because you want a wealthy man, you want a man that have it together, but
Can't
I
even
mean,
pay for insurance.
you can't even pay for insurance. Or
Brr,
even
brr.
with that, he brings home his money to you, and before he blinks, there's nothing there. The home isn't taken care of. If you look at the women from back in the days, you would hear, you know, your grandfather, and they say, well, boy, I didn't really used to make much, you know, but your grandmother, she spread that money. She knew how
Resourceful.
to, yeah, exactly, resourceful. Now, that is also a part of being a high value woman, but we have these hotties today.
Perhaps.
Yeah, these hot girl summers.
Okay, that's not really fair.
Right?
Yeah, it's
The
not.
average
The
Joe.
average Joe.
Because it's like a epidemic, eh?
Yes, it
in
is.
terms of, I would say,
But apparently
entitlement.
so.
So I have a question. Who's responsible for the epidemic?
But
We
I
are
was going
all
to say,
responsible.
right.
Just now,
So I was
yeah.
going to say, just to summarize so that everyone could follow, we basically identified the 6 F's
Yeah.
just now, which is the premise of the
Yes.
organization, which is
Faith.
faith,
Finance. Fitness.
Fitness, fashion,
Fashion,
friendship,
and
family.
family.
I don't know why I say family first. That's my value system. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Family. So I had one question. You just mentioned who is responsible for the epidemic in
Yeah.
terms of what women expect, or who created the dynamic in terms of what we have to expect from guys and what we need to bring to the table. So, I mean, we could build on that because my thing is, at what point or at what stage or how do you acquire the knowledge to meet up to those requirements, those 6 F's? Because that's not basic information.
No, it
Knowing how to
isn't.
balance finances. If you come from a traumatic background, your family values in shambles. If you have no faith, let me be real, we live in a
Correct.
society where faith is very much fickle.
Yeah.
Right? Finances. A lot of people cannot manage their finances.
Yeah.
We spoke about fitness.
Yeah, only carnival time they care.
Right?
Yeah.
What's the other
Friendship
F?
and family.
Friendship and family. I mean, a lot of people don't really. I mean, we all want to be friends. We all
Yeah.
see the importance of it, but really, actually, in a romantic sense, persons neglect the friendship
Promises of
element.
friendship.
So
Friendship
where,
is really about emotional intelligence and relational skills,
Skills.
so that you know how to interact and communicate.
people.
so where do we acquire these skills to become high
Or where
value
do
women?
you know when? And I want to answer that because I think that if it is, I had to get a second name, I would be called trauma. Yeah,
Right.
because it's like so much trauma. But really and truly, you would go through life and you would experience things, and at some point you're gonna say to yourself, enough is enough. Like, when am I going to, when do you get sick and tired of being sick and tired? And there's something that is inside of you that literally starts to tick. It's like a timer that tells you, no, this isn't right. And so for me, I believe I had everything. Have a good education, have a good job, a good paying job at that. I'm married, children, home, car, the basic things that people would assume to be, that they would assume or equate to success. But then why am I walking around with this hole, basically? That void. Why do I still feel like I need something, that something is still missing? And that feeling, that void, is your indicator that you need to seek help.
And the thing about that is this, right? The sad thing about it is, and I say to people all the time, sorry, a lot of the times, so many of us attach our value or sense of being to things, because everything you listed, there's things, right? Education, children, marriage, all those are things, right? And it comes back to, and you'll get there to a point when you realize that you have a void because you have all of these things. But there's still an emptiness. What fills that emptiness is you connecting to the source. But again, it will take a time for you to get there.
So this is why I asked the question, what has led to the epidemic? And there's a reason why I would have asked that question, because as a person, having a personal experience, me knowing and battling with my identity, with knowing who I am, understanding that I am high value, it led me to dig deeper, to find not that there is an epidemic, but why? Because that's what happened to me. So I'm a researcher. I love to go dig for information. Yeah. It's good enough to know that there's an epidemic, but what's causing that?
Here's the problem I have with the why.
Well,
sorry to say. Wait, just now. Wait, let me just address the problem I have with the why. The problem I have with the why, it comes like a balloon that we just keep trying to pass around. So everybody keep asking, well, why this? Who's responsible? Who's ultimately responsible? Who is more responsible? And I get
let me change the question. What is responsible? Because
the same thing, the what, the why, and the how.
Doesn't.
Wait, just now, what I'm saying the what, the why, and the how, it still comes back to the same thing, that you are trying to get an answer to something that so many of us use as an excuse. We all need to take responsibility for where we are, because the reality is your parents would have inflicted certain things on you that cause a trauma. However, as you start to get older, you are still also responsible for your healing process.
Agreed. However, here's my thing. Again, if I don't know what is the cause of my trauma, then how am I going to know? If I don't know what is the cause of my sickness, no, sorry.
No. What I mean to say,
sometimes you really don't know.
Right?
And sometimes you really don't know.
Sometimes you don't know.
Because I was going to say, we are using the terminology and the vocabulary, but a lot of persons, as it relates to what they believe is appropriate behaviors as it relates to man and woman relations. Trauma is not even in the equation. Yeah.
So to answer your question, I would say it's exposure, right? Mismanaging exposure. We see what we want from other people's lives. And what that's supposed to do in you is motivate you to want to find out the know-hows on how to achieve it and get to there. Instead, we covet and we jealous and we envy.
Correct.
Right? So, to answer your question, because you asked how it is that we're supposed to really
decipher,
know that you want that, and it's because other people, God will put you in front of other people's lives to raise a desire in you to want it. And the problem is, because of our community, the friends we keep, the conversations we are having, we are not desiring it in a healthy, wholesome way. We are now bashing it, longing for it secretly, and don't want to work towards it, because who is speaking into your life? Who is speaking into your life? Who's encouraging you to do better? Nobody. Nobody. So really, you're just looking and, oh gosh. So here we are now, and you see, the solution to that is unity. Because community. I could preach all I want. One is not enough, and nobody's going to listen. But when you have a movement, when you have like-minded individuals coming together to show that, one, we happy, we fulfilled, we growing, we successful, we love God, we have peace, we have joy,
So when you say a movement, right? Okay, the reality is, and I'm not a Debbie Downer, to be honest, but sometimes the people who we love
And you move away from
could be, but
Yeah,
that
move
is not,
away.
okay.
finish
Right.
it.
What I was going to say is, right. I mean, I think you assumed where I was going in terms of I have friends, my girlfriends, we may all be single, right? Let's just go with that narrative. And to me, my friends are not toxic or negative, but we just happen to be single. And we just have experiences where we're trying to decipher for the common term situationships, or you're encountering persons where you're trying to decipher if you want to enter into a relationship with them or not, and then in this gray area because people are not really quick to
Genuine.
jump into relationships. Right, good, right. So when you say aligning yourself, unity, and aligning yourself with like-minded persons, imagine this is your support system, these are your friends. How do you, is it that you are saying that you have to champion
Pick
the
me.
cause?
Pick
Pick
me
me.
too.
I always want to go last.
Pick me. Pick me.
I want them to speak first, and I want to speak after.
Right.
Pick
Yeah.
me. You know, the sad thing about it is this. We all say, oh, I want this, I want that, I want the other. Are you willing to do what it takes to get there? And as you talk about alignment, if it is, so I am married, right? And people might find like I'm very shady in so many ways that I function. But in the way that I
What I mean?
that means it's like me and you could be real cool.
Right.
Now I back in the days, was a
Hot girl.
hot girl out there. You know, those who know me know.
In the city,
but
city.
you know, in the city.
10 out of 10 out of 10.
But I always knew what I wanted for my life, and that came from the point of seeing some of my family dynamic, and I said, you know what, Kanisha, that's not for me. I see how you're living. I don't want to do that. I want to forge my own path. However, that may not be everybody's mantra because
Right.
they may not even know how to start to. And not that I
Right.
knew how to start to, but I just said that is not what I want.
Right.
Right? So, given that to say, the way I function, my situation, I'm like, all right, this is what I want for my life. And if it is, I notice that the same way you go up on the YouTubes and look for all of the bacchanal series with the love and the hip hop and the this and the that and the other, it's the same way you could look for successful relationships as well too, and try to pattern that. So for me, it's like once I recognize, and this is how I want to run my home, and me and you going down and we's friends,
Right.
and I telling you, girl, you know what I do for my mister to make him feel special. For example, my husband loves foreign beers, so I would go somewhere and pick up foreign beers and take it home for him. And let's just say I'm with you, and when I pick up the foreign beers, what am I buying that for? What I buy it from my husband? Girl, you mad, and he's still gone home. You what you doing that for? I am going to exit from the situation because I am trying to create something, and you are now basically
But
Raining on the parade, you're bringing the
granted that
negativity.
Ribka would have specifically mentioned that she don't think her friends are toxic, right?
Yeah.
So
no,
I
but
wanna,
this is why I'm highlighting
Because
toxic.
sometimes you can identify friends who
Yeah.
really
So
not really
I
trying
wanna
to
speak-
aspire for healthy situations, but we all struggle.
But
We
and
all
here's what
struggling.
I
that
wanna
makes it toxic.
add on to
No, it makes it
that.
toxic. No, wait, let me tell you why it's toxic.
Yes,
Because
I
if we are
understand, it's
friends,
true.
right? And I am saying, Ripka, this is the house I am trying to build. I want my house to be white tiles XYZ. And I'm buying white tiles XYZ. And every time I buy a white tiles, you coming into rain on
Get
my
all
parade.
right.
That's yeah.
But
That's toxic.
so I want to add to that though. You would only have an understanding that the people that you're currently around are okay if you only stay around those people, right? Again, I would say that I don't think my friends are my ride or dies are toxic.
Right.
However, when it part of becoming a high value woman is also understanding is letting go, right? And in my journey to letting go, he started to place strategically, God started to strategically place other people in my life. And it's only when those other people came into my life, you would see snippets of things that you would no longer want to tolerate, right? And I'm not saying that your current friends are toxic, guys. Please do not come for me. I'm just saying that.
Well, she's not saying it. I saying it.
But I'm
Let me hear.
just
Just to
no.
repeat.
If she not saying it, I am saying it.
No, well, I not because I don't know them and we don't judge over here. But I'm just saying that the people that you're currently around. So how I want to explain it is like they are your ladder, right? And the only way you would know the level of support or the
lack thereof.
the lack thereof is when you move to the next stage or phase or whatever you would want to address it as, but the next period or season of your life, right? And in experiencing other people, refreshing people, you would now
You see
start
how
to
she did that? Refreshing. So we are refreshing.
Clearly.
no, there's no shade to my ride or dies. It's just that your experience, as Sharice would have
Show
mentioned
me your
before,
friends and
your
I'll show you who you
exposure
are.
would give you insight into, okay, I'm definitely not going to do this anymore, because that is not contributing to me being high value. It's
Right.
not helping me be a better me. And only then, so all now your friends real cool and everything good, and it's just because you are all there. But the minute you start to, and I hate to use the word evolve because it could be so contradictory, but evolve, change, grow, anything, mature, you're going to realize that some things no longer
Fit.
resonate, and it does, and then it doesn't necessarily mean that your current friends are toxic, but they're just not meant to take it to that next ladder to climb. You get that? Yeah. Go ahead.
I would say plain talk. You have to get fed up, right? Because you are saying, but suppose you don't know your friends are toxic. So clearly we are speaking about the individual who not really using terminology like high value woman and you want to evolve or anything like that. So how is she going to really realize that change must be made? And it is getting sick and tired of going through the same thing over and over and over and over and over.
Correct.
Because there's a difference between cycles and seasons. And cycles has to do with you.
And
But
toxic.
seasons have to do with time.
Correct.
And if over and over the time is extended and nothing is changing, then it's a cycle that you keep repeating. So after a
So
while,
let's repeat that.
age,
Hold on. Let's repeat that. There's a difference between cycles and seasons.
Correct.
So repeat that.
All right. So seasons has to do with time. Dry season,
Wet season.
wet season.
Yeah.
Dry season financially, abundance. You might be in luck. It's a season. Because, God will take you through seasons, right? But cycles
Different.
is when you don't
Same.
learn the lesson because you keep going back in the same classroom
repeating standard
and
five.
repeating over and over and
feel
over
attacked.
and over,
Yeah.
right? So
So
after
you
a
can go through
while,
a season.
Yeah.
But if you
Yes.
are repeating the same behaviors over and over and over,
That means
It's a
you haven't learned
cycle.
from
It's a
the
cycle.
lesson.
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And but the real difference with the cycle and the season is one has to do with time and one has to do with you.
Yeah.
You have changes to make.
And self-awareness.
So if years is passing by and your age is going up and you're realizing that you're not settling, you're not calm, you're not getting what you want, you're not happy, you have frown lines, something has
It's a
to
cycle.
be done.
Yeah.
it's a
Yes.
cycle of bad behaviors.
Bad behavior. So,
Or
let me-
bad choices.
Right.
And the thing about choices is that it's not free from the consequence of the choice.
I like how you all in sync. What's going on
you
here?
make the choice, yeah, we dancing too. Even if you make the choice 5 years ago, like
still have to suffer
unwanted pregnancy, that choice, that consequence, you're still going to
Follows
suffer
you.
the consequence. And
Yeah.
the thing about it is, it doesn't matter how much you grow, you're still going to have to
Have
do
the
the
price to
consequence.
pay.
The thing about it, the best part about the growth is that you're going to be equipped now to make better choices, to change the cycle, the narrative, and you would enter different seasons because the time would allow you to enter the different seasons. It's beautiful. Honestly, like, just everything that we have to belch out is beautiful. It makes my pores raise, and yours should raise too.
I want
You
to
know,
just
I remember my dad walking into my bedroom with 3 markers, and he wrote big on the wall: choices with an arrow, decisions with an arrow, consequences.
Right.
And I found he was so annoying. But as life progressed, that image kept being so profound in my mind to the point where I'm saying it to my child now, because it's the truth. Whatever you decide, you still have to make a choice. And that choice is going to come along with consequences. So really and truly, you have to evaluate what you want. Ultimately. And that's what people are not doing. They are not thinking about
what they
the
want.
future,
Yeah.
what they desire.
Vision short.
Yeah, vision short.
Short vision.
But just
and it's because of instant gratification.
Yeah, because now we're living in this microwave season.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, I know I could put a bag of popcorn in there and it's 5
And I get
minutes.
it one time.
One time. So we all just loving off that.
But right, I'm glad you said that.
But before we move on to the
Okay.
next point, right? That's what I want to circle back to. I know when we speak about, because sometimes some terminologies could be very intimidating to some people.
Right.
So when we speak about the words high value man or high value woman, somebody could just be like, that could never be me. Right? And even when it is you relate it to like your circle, well, I mean, I ain't really come from nowhere, so that could never really be us, or that could never really be me.
I from Valencia.
Right. Right.
just
Yeah.
saying.
So it's like what it really comes down to, if it is we really want to just break it down in simple terms, as it relates to your friendship and your community and your environment that you surround yourself with, and understanding that let's just dress it up a little bit and maybe not say that your friends are toxic, but they're not trying to change. It comes like this. Let's just say not throwing shade to anybody, because for matter of fact, I used to work Francis Fashion flagship store, right?
Right.
Me too.
Right? I used to work there and I loved it, right? So I worked there when
Sales.
school would go, yes, right? And I used to do good.
That's why I learned to sell.
Yeah, the
Crème de la
best.
crème.
Yeah, right? So let's just say you started off working there. And I remember when I started working there over the August vacation, we were told like, hey, if it is you sell, you put your numbers on the box and you'll be able to get your commissions, and that's a big thing. And I remember, obviously, I'm younger than some of them that were working there for many years. When Miss Keisha told me that, the manager at the time, I said, what incentive, commissions, thing? That's how we're getting rated. I start pushing and making sure I serve my customers, everybody like, Nuxie, that's my home name. And I remember one of the girls, she was there longer than I was, and she was like, why you even bothering to do that for? That not even making no sense. And I was like, well, these are some of the things I aspiring to do, because when I make this extra money, I can now help my little sister buy books for XYZ, this, that, whatever the case may be. But her vision is so limited, and she's also so jaded by whatever is happening. She's not seeing the bigger picture. Now, is it her intent to keep me in a particular place just making, let's just say, $1,500?
No.
Maybe not. But the reality is the vision that I have, she doesn't have it.
Right.
And
So,
that's why I
should
want
not be
to.
foresight.
I also want to.
what is it?
Should not be
Foresight.
foresight.
That's
That's my
her
maiden
last.
name.
Yeah, that's her last name.
So you have to have
So
that
that's why I felt it necessary to say what is causing the epidemic, because ultimately a lot of us walking around in our regular lives, and we think that we are okay. We think that what we are doing is normal. We think that how we respond to situations is cool, because again, a lot of people around us are also doing it. So it's normal, basically, right? And there is this thing inside of you, there's a void, and I'm going to say it is literally a void. When nobody is around, when it is you're not sweating, you're not at the hairdresser doing your nails, getting your eyelashes done, and
Party and liming.
liming, tracking girls, all the things that people doing
Tracking
now
man.
to tracking man to suffice and to make up time. When you get that snippet of alone time, you see that sourness, you just feel in your throat, and you can't
emptiness.
swallow, and you feel like something stifling you, but nothing is there. That is the indicator that something is definitely wrong. And you now have to know that you're sick and tired of being of that feeling. More party, more girl, more man, more of what you're currently doing, more tattoos, more piercings. None of these things will ever change
Satisfy
or
the void.
satisfy that void, right? What is causing the epidemic is that
lack of self-awareness.
yeah, that lack of correct, and then of course coupled with the fact that we have so many people around us that also doing the same thing. The minute you start to feel, and the reason why I'm saying that is because a lot of us are living on autopilot. We get up, we go to work, we study harder, we work again, and we come home, we take care of the kids, we are doing things automatically, but we are not really experiencing the joys of life. And there's so much things to experience in this
Okay,
lifetime.
I want to be lack of a better word, devil's advocate. Being a high value woman, so like plenty work.
It is.
What is the incentive in this current dating climate?
A high
No,
value
how
man.
do you define?
First of all-
like what do you guys think about the current
Hold
dating
on.
climate?
So I want to start.
I want to
know.
just
Well,
say, you see the hold
Mood.
on. You see the same.
She
You
doesn't
see.
know.
Well,
you
I
don't
want
try
to-
that, Kinesh.
I
You
want to
married.
say-
You married too.
I genuinely did
Well,
not know. I did not know.
well,
I heard about it.
plot twist. I am married and currently separated.
Oh,
Right. So while I am not single, because in the godly aspects, I'm still very married. I am not engaging anybody, but it doesn't mean that people will not come.
But
Right? Wait. And I want to tell her what is the incentive. The incentive is being happy with me.
Oh, thank you.
Hi.
That's what I was
Also,
getting at.
so it's more so
listen.
about your own
Yes,
fulfillment
because
rather
ultimate-
than
Ribka,
meeting a spouse.
Correct.
the
getting a
spouse
partner.
will come. God knows that kingdom man is there, and I am quite.
She claiming it.
know it there, and whether it is my current husband.
What kind of
Can't believe I'm saying this on
energy
camera,
here?
but I'm just saying
It's
I
never
know
toxic
it,
energy when it's
right?
your husband.
Yeah.
Correct, and it's
So you're
different.
currently separated.
Yes, we don't
Let
live in the
no
same
man
house.
separate what
X,
God
Y,
put together.
Correct. But I need now. Listen, I have
Let me hear what's going on
no.
here
I
now.
have no. I don't feel no how about saying these things because I know the God I serve,
confident
and
in
I'm
herself
confident
too, yes.
that I will experience the goodness of God in the land of the living.
Right.
Right. Now, the point I'm trying, and I'm glad you say that she wouldn't know and she would know, because you don't know that I'm separated, but I am. And in reality, in my separation, yes, it will have times that I feel a particular type of way. It will have times that I might want certain things. It may have times that I would look at my 4-year-old daughter and be like, oh God, you know,
Yeah.
I would feel it.
Right.
But I have that faith which I put over my feelings,
Yes.
because in reality, guess what?
Yeah.
Eva, Corande now, if she was a hot girl, it's only the one nothing to
I
do.
mean?
I tell you that. And Rebecca, it's yes, there is no possible.
Is it meow?
Listen, and I love it. You see, I thought I was going to drop the meow, and
But I
can't.
mean, no, I mean, come on, I have
We
to do
can't
it.
drop the meow.
I can't purr
do
because
it.
I have braces. But you know, I want to right. You're purr for me. Good. The point I'm trying to make is that I am literally the incentive is me. I am me.
yeah.
I love me, and I real good with me. And if it means that me don't have a man, then that's what it's meant to be. But it also is me aspiring to be of value.
So what happened when I get lonely? Eva?
You will not.
You don't get lonely.
Right, you don't get lonely.
Let me tell
You
you
don't get
something.
lonely.
Let me tell you
Let me
something.
shake
Let
the
me
table
tell
here
you. Let
now.
me tell you a secret, right?
Uh-huh.
This podcast. Well, we thought the podcast was supposed to be last week, right?
Right.
But last week I was sick.
Right.
Right? I would not have been able to make the podcast.
Right.
So here's how my God is full of my calendar for me.
Right.
Lonely how?
It wasn't last week while I was sick, when I could have been home and rock back. I have real things to do, and I have real things to do not based on a social calendar or anything. I literally have work, purpose.
So loneliness is a mindset then.
Of course.
Duh.
It is.
And let me tell you, I don't
It
be-
is.
Of course, duh.
I want to have a weekend. I just fight for my weekends.
So, for downtime.
Hello.
Just to relax.
Yes, girl.
Rather than feeling like lonely.
Because
I
Because you're busy.
But that's not loneliness,
That's
though.
not
Right.
That's, not
Solitude.
even, that's not even what I mean, because to me, I could have nothing to do.
and
Right.
I'm not
And
lonely.
I'm not lonely.
No.
Correct.
I'm having the time of my life.
You have things to do.
The truth is the best time is when you're alone.
But no,
Not for
everybody.
everyone.
Oh,
Because-
sorry,
But you
guys.
see,
Not
that
everyone.
is-
It was not
that
it's not for
everyone.
me either.
Right.
You know?
As well.
I can even have the music off. You
Right.
understand?
Yeah.
I don't even want silence. No,
Yeah.
because you
No,
don't
in the
want to
past.
sit with
That's
your
what I mean.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't want to sit with your thoughts. You don't want to
Because
sit with
it's
yourself.
horrible.
Right? But when you get that peace now, it's like
You
I'm
look
having
forward
the
to
time
those
of my
moments.
A
want
piece
this.
that
Yeah.
surpasses
I want
your
that.
understanding.
What I wanted to just kind of like go off the handle with is that way. So what is the price?
We are the
I
prize.
want to look at the
Yes.
camera and say this.
Just remember, girl.
I just want to, yes, I know I'm married, blah, 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 this, that, and the fourth. We get it, right?
Right.
That
But
is
the
not the
point-
prize.
No, the point is this. I am so tired of hearing people say, well, okay, if it is I become this, then what is the prize I'm getting? The
Your value
prize is
can't
you
be
and your
attached to a
peace.
thing, correct.
Because listen, I am 33 years old.
Ooh.
And I am
Come
so
on.
grateful to God, right? That God has just maybe put something a bit weird in me. So I always say to people, I'm kind of like an alien. I don't know what it's like to be bored. I don't know what it's like to feel lonely because I so enjoy Kanisha. Right, and that's because I have worked on myself. And now I'm the furthest thing from perfect.
No,
Right.
all
But
of us.
I have done the work on
me
myself
too.
where I could enjoy my own company. And let's talk about the price that you want. And I would have told so many of my friends this and associates, all they want a man. But they don't even like all yourself. All
But
it's sour.
let's get-
One
let's-
man wants to
And
be
that is
around
the
you.
root.
Let's get a
That
little
is the root.
transparent,
Yes.
right? A lot of persons. I mean, this. I think this may be the experience for the average Joe.
Yeah.
You don't end up or exist in that space where you're comfortable with self.
And that
In
is
terms
the
of what
why,
you just say.
Why you
So-
want a man to come
Just
around?
No,
now,
the question is
finish.
but the question is, how do you navigate that journey
So,
to
Ribka,
come to peace with yourself?
I will
Stop
tell.
watching
Let
Love
me,
and Hip Hop.
let me tell you.
Whoa!
No, okay, before she continue, let me just say why. I mean, now, granted, I watch Love and Hip Hop, right? So that's like a kiki kaka moment. But the reality is this. It goes back to, like what Sharice was saying. We spend so much time in certain spaces and certain environments where we are comfortable because this is now the norm, right?
Correct.
But you know what? You now saying to yourself, here's what. I'm getting to 20-something. I desire a family for myself. I desire to have a husband or a mister, somebody that I could, cohabitate
But-
with, right? So now you need to start familiarizing yourself with those kind of content rather than you're sitting down every day watching Love and Hip Hop with this one and Stevie G and the other and filling up your minds with these polluted things.
Well,
So in other words,
also,
it comes down to your conditioning then.
yes,
So
but
it's like a
also,
condition.
Show me your
and
friends and I'll
mold.
show you who
Yeah.
you are. Birds of a feather flock together.
Right.
Right?
But in that case, it's
Rep-
just like, let me say you're working from a place of self.
ask the
Let me say
question
you have-
again.
because
ask
there-
the question again.
How do you,
Uh-huh.
as an individual,
Right.
Because not everybody has the, let's say,
Dissonance.
outside influences.
Or
You may
internal.
not have a group of friends or a bag of friends. Let me say you as yourself struggling to
Google,
reach to
YouTube.
that.
No.
You're struggling
Ask
to
the
reach to that
question.
place of self-worth.
Right.
How do you navigate reaching to that place of self-love and self-realization in terms of, okay, this is what I want for myself. This is what I want to achieve. This is who I want to be. Because it's not an easy road.
No. And I'll go back to the
So,
point.
like, how do you...
I'll go
like, how
back
do
to
you-
the point of coming from living in a situation and now out of it and being in the same single space because, you're trying to honor your covenant. That lump in your throat is not going to go away, and you're literally going to have to let go of trying to live that life, that ideal. Because you see, the ideal is what catching up to all of us. Like, what's the ideal man and what's the ideal girl?
Of what we
and
think we
everybody
want.
of what we think we want, and everybody trying to match up to the ideal, right? I want to also go back to what Sharice would have said, knowing your purpose. We all have something to do, and navigating the journey is literally just letting go. Now, letting go of the ideal,
Right.
right? And also, because I have to say this, right? I have to say it.
It'll join feet to
Feel our
feel it.
feelings.
Well, that too. That is like big, yes. But so journey to faith over feelings is really believing that Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior. Because really and truly, that lump in your throat isn't going to go away. Like no human being could take away that.
So the connecting thread.
That's not my answer.
Well, I understand
Let
that's
me
not
hear.
your answer, but that's my answer.
Because I was going to ask if the connecting thread is like your faith.
Yes.
In terms of if you don't, because I mean, there's recurrent themes in
But
terms of
even
what
if-
we're
Yeah, but
talking
how
about.
do you even know that you want to have faith?
But here,
Right.
so that's
So
what
you know
to
you
say.
So
want
I'm
to
saying,
go
like,
down that road.
if
So
I
that's why
feel
I
as
ju-
though I'm doing the same thing, so for example, I can speak from a place. We try to be authentic on the podcast,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I don't think I aspire to be someone
Mary.
who want to take out someone. Like I don't feel as though I operate from a place of disingenuity. Like I want to be malicious in my intentions, or I want to take out somebody. Really, and truly, I feel like just existing. Like, cool. I'm just saying that when I meet persons, I'm either deciphering on who seems genuine and who does not seem genuine. God has instilled in me a moral compass, or my faith. Then
Yeah.
to say at the end of the day, in black and white, there's
Right and
good
wrong.
and
There's
right or
right.
wrong. good and bad. There could never be a time where I feel as I want to deceive somebody and expect in return that they're going to be honest with me or transparent with me.
Right.
Like it's simple things because people take those things for granted, right? I get a little bad feeling from him. So let me just be a little sneaky on the side because he do that to me. It's like reciprocation.
And my answer is in alignment with that. And here's
Right.
the answer. The word of God says that you shall know them by the fruit.
Yeah.
Right?
So
So that simply means in 2023, because I'm assuming that your question is within 2023.
Yes, present
Right.
time.
So where you have social media, you have radio, you have all kind of different mediums showing you all kind of different things, advertising. Why keep responding to the weave? Why keep responding to the surgeries? Keep responding to the parties, but you don't want to respond to the million life coaches, to all the psychological doctors, to the therapists. Because why? Really and truly, it stems from your self-worth. You don't even think they could work for you because you don't even value yourself at all to want to spend your money for that, but you keep spending your money on frivolous things for the exterior, not realizing that is your insides that deteriorating, right? So it is the response. It is choosing to respond. At the end of the day, it's always going to be a choice. Just like with Jesus Christ. Even though God loves us, He wants us to choose Him. Right? So, to answer your question.
joint face over feelings.
No, to answer your question, you have to be able to make a decision for you at some point in time.
And that is why I said, if it is you start saying to yourself that you want a particular thing, you need to, and I just use the love and hip hop, as Teresa had mentioned, as in terms of the example, it have so many, we are living in an era where we are so
surrounded by information.
surrounded by information, right? And the reality is, you will gravitate to certain things based on where you feel you are, right? Back to Shari's point. So you're saying to yourself you want X, but all you're doing is going on the weave, you're going at this, you're going at the other. Why are you not subscribing to somebody who is speaking the things that you want into your life? Or even, for example, you want a relationship, a fruit. So you want a relationship, just saying like Michelle Obama and Barack. Why are you not following them to see the type of man that Barack Obama is, to see the type of woman that Michelle Obama is?
So it's like
gaining
gaining the knowledge, the resources. Yeah.
And discernment. That's what the discernment.
So discernment. But again, it cannot.
Some people don't know what that is.
It can't go to the.
No, I
you can't be telling me that
but
you're saying to yourself, well, okay, how do I get from point A to point B? But all you keep doing is watching right here. Right? You're watching the same thing over and over. You have to look at the direction of the people who already have the things that you want, and then kind of cater or craft your life in that direction.
I think ultimately it's like hard work to a certain degree.
Of course.
Because we all
But Rivka,
it's real easy, Sharice, to be like, I'm the prize. As a woman, I'm existing. I'm beautiful.
Nice. I know
I'm
plenty of them
nice.
like that.
and then you'll meet a man.
It's fire.
But then,
I know all these songs. No, because that's not about me hanging out with the hot girls.
I'm just saying, what is the consensus?
Because here's the sad thing about it, right? And I'm sure she probably is going to see this because they look at these things. And it goes back to what you look at, right? So, like on my social media platform, there's certain things that you just would not see pop up on my algorithm. Because I don't feed
You're
into
not aligning with that.
I'm not aligned with that. I know what I want for my life. So therefore, there's certain things that I just would not indulge in my company.
and it wouldn't come into
my preference, right? So back to the whole mom is fire, right? All of that, all that nice things, right? I
She's
remember,
just like,
this was a really good friend of mine, and I remember one time she said to me, "I want a real good man, but I just don't want to do anything." I said, okay, no problem. I don't want to do anything. So then I was like, okay, so what value are you adding to him? No, mind you, she's very, I said, she's like, well, I'm nice, I look good. I said, good, but there are many other women that look good as well. You're not the only person.
That's not
spectacular. That's not spectacular.
She'll get the man, but she just may not keep him.
You wouldn't keep him. That used to happen plenty times, because I remember one time she said to me, like, we went on one little date. No, I have to bring it out, and everybody knows themselves, right? We went on one little date, and he never called me back after. I said, because he recognized that you're worth nothing. Right? Because realistically speaking, after I dance up in that, it's fire, right? I recognize I can't even hold a proper conversation
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
you.
Because you don't really want to put in all that effort.
Yeah, I can't even. And then when it says I have a little business idea, and I sit down, you rubbing my head, and I saying, baby, you know what I want to do, X, Y, Z. Like,
yeah, well, you
I
know
don't
the
know.
18 inches CD other day. Well, 30 now. 30 inches. It's like
Yeah,
2300,
you
baby.
have no substance to me. So then I recognizing, well, the thing was fire, but after that,
But
those
the fire
10
does
minutes,
burn.
The fire burn out.
Yes.
Wow.
So
And then it becomes
okay,
ashes.
I have a question. I have, because I think for purposeful conversation and just creating scenarios, right?
Yeah.
I have done the work.
Right.
Right? I've done the work. I'm aspiring for a high value man by becoming a high value woman, right?
Right.
I meet a guy. He appears as a high value man following the F's.
Yeah.
I love the appears.
Yeah, appears because people
Appears.
change. People max themselves
Yeah.
or whatever. And it does not work out. Where does the high value woman go from there? I've
She's
met a
okay.
guy-
This
She's
question.
okay.
She's great. She
She's
flips her hair,
fantastic.
does her
Is she
eyelashes.
really?
Yes, she
I'm
really,
devastated.
yes.
I'm the
Why?
high value woman because it's a hypothetical, right?
But if it's hypothetically, I am telling you that, and I would have mentioned that before, like you would feel a feeling like you're not a robot. God knows He created
Right.
you with feelings, so you will have your emotions.
I am
you
devastated.
You might be devastated.
Yes.
But you're going to pick yourself back up because you know you are okay with you.
And your existence is not tied to him.
Correct. Your
That's
value.
not your identity.
That's
Correct.
my identity. So
That's
why I
just
say
a
your identity
situation.
cannot come from things. It can't come from your degrees. It
No,
can't come from a person.
correct.
It can't come from
I
there.
want to highlight something. 3 of us sitting here. 2 of us home with our husbands. She is not. And we have the same voice.
Right.
Same tone. She's laughing loudest. Why is that? And that's because it does not, her laughter is not associated to the man
God
that
is my man.
beside her.
Correct. And I want to, yes. So here's the thing.
Yes.
So you said we are honest and transparent here, right? I have been married for a
We
person
try
of
to be the
business.
guys,
We try
I
to
don't
be
know.
the guys. We already know they're very sneaky. They're not really going to talk the talk. But I will bring it real, honest, and raw because again, we are very caught up in the social media era, where it's like we see the pretty pictures and everybody, oh, I want that. So I will always have people saying to me and my husband, I really like the relationship you and your wife have, and I saying, dog, come down from there. The work that it requires to
Yes.
have this is not easy.
Nope.
So let me tie it back to a point of what if the high value man that you pick up and you thought was high value start to act a little funny? Where does that leave you? There are many times my husband and I would go through things, and we're married 8 years this year. And let me tell you something. Somebody thinks it ain't easy. Pressure. Right? But here's this. No matter what we go through, right? I'm not saying that sometimes I am not a bit broken or hurt by the situation, because I'm saying, God, I am doing the things that
You're
I
doing the work.
should do.
Right.
I'm doing the work. I'm
And
a
a nice.
woman after your own and a nice thing. You understand?
Meow.
Hey,
Meow.
look, you understand, man? You understand? So I'm saying, God, I saying, you know, and as a summer friend, I said, take the job out of my eyes because I'm feeling like a bit selfish. Because I'm saying I'm doing the things that I need to do, and this man still sometimes might just jump out himself.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: regardless of how he chooses to function,
That
and it
doesn't
has
change who you
happened.
are.
Let me tell you something. Honestly, you cannot take my smile away because my identity isn't tied to him. It isn't tied to my marriage. It isn't tied to our relationship.
Yes.
No.
My identity is tied to God and my
Yes.
source.
Correct.
I believe that I am here to be a light to everybody else.
Yes.
So I could be the most.
She's just proud.
Yeah, I,
Yes.
can tell you, I could be the most devastated in this moment. And let me tell you something.
still laugh.
And still laugh.
And
Yes.
I want to tell you
Yeah.
something. So funny story. My daughter would have had an incident with. We had an emergency. She fell, right? And we go into the hospital. So you know, as a parent, you don't want to experience those things.
Right.
My daughter is literally with me like 24/7, and I'm just saying this to see. She gets to the hospital and she's like, "Can I get a wheelchair?" And it's because even through this situation, she has been able, she sees things. I don't hide it from her. I experience what I experience. She will see when I'm upset, and I will explain to her mommy's upset.
Right.
But because the joy is rooted in there, she also has it, and it's so funny because I could now tell you, boy, And it has happened because, as Kanisha said, we are not exclusive to real life problems, you know.
Correct.
We are not because we high value it or we aspiring to be. Because I know I have, see this mouth, Lord. Fix
Yeah,
it.
she really need to work on that.
But
I talk to her about it every day.
yes.
I tried.
Yeah. Well, I'm mind new to the equation. So now I'm like, Eva, oh God.
yes, and you see, that is the thing. So when I did this, it would have had people who've been speaking to me about the mouth all my life, and now God sent new, fresh people who not
To
fed
talk
up
about it.
to say, "Hey, girl, shut your mouth. You
Yeah.
need to shut up."
Down in the car, say, Eva, oh God, how we reach there?
But the point I'm trying to make is that that is the prize. The prize is that joy. The prize is that peace. That no matter if I now grovel and cry, I'm like, oh God, and I'll be like, girl, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's
A high value woman has to be submitted to God entirely to the point where you have no expectations of what you want your life to be.
correct.
So if it is you, to answer your question, if it is you, did the work, meet this high value man, things go sour, okay. It's not your will, it's his. So therefore you have to trust him and know that that is not the man for you and it's his loss. Because when you see your value, you'll be able to lick your wounds and keep going and not cry and crawl back because you understand that this is his loss for real. And whoever else comes across your way, it is their prize. And it is in alignment with what God wants for you. So if it means that you have to be single right now, that's what God wants for you. So accept that.
And it's not in a condescending way at all. It's the truth.
Yeah.
It's
Something
because it could
condescending?
sound, because no, I'm telling you.
Because I know that could be sung like that from my mouth, but
Yeah.
it's not what I
But
mean.
exactly, and
Yeah.
that's why I need to reiterate that because really and truly,
The ice. It's slapping.
Yeah. I know what to say, God.
well, oh God, you know, a girl, a girl at a deficit.
Sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
It's okay. High value women have a little more than
You
you.
listen. I mean, come on.
Swallow.
Swallow. Good.
Lack of practice.
Right. Oh, wow.
But
Circle
so
back.
the thing is you always distract me. Right. The point is that is not condescending. It's
Right.
really that you would be okay and tomorrow is another day.
Yeah.
Today is today. You had a moment. You was devastated. Oh, he didn't like me. And tomorrow, please God, you're gonna dust your frills. You're gonna go to work and you're gonna experience that peace and that joy, that happiness, and you're gonna know, as Shiri said, that's just not for me. Because even if it didn't work out, it worked out.
And
You know why it is so devastating? It's because you treasure and value the man so much, you
Yeah.
start to lose yourself,
Yourself.
your identity. He like this,
But
you like
like
it
him,
too.
Sharice, I
Yeah,
love him.
you wanna
Like,
eat that. You wanna eat that.
you want to be
Everything. So
You love
start,
it.
pieces of you start falling off.
Right.
Because you're trying to conform to him.
Yeah.
So when he come and ups and leave, you have nothing.
Correct.
You don't have you anymore.
And
A focus on him.
Whereas
Yes.
if you were enjoying his company and his time and the conversations and still enjoying you and delegating time for him and for you separately, if it is he was to come out of the equation, or you would be like, okay, well, I guess it's me and me.
Yeah.
And you're building your whole life around
Exactly. Do not tie your life to anything.
Because
anything.
my question would be, suppose the man died.
Because
God
I
is
was not
not
about to
jealous
talk.
God.
Well, hold on. I was not about to
Suppose
talk
he
about
dead,
that.
you're gonna be devastated for the
So,
rest of your life.
I mean, that difference is if
No,
he
but-
freestyle and leave,
He's
man.
not there. He's
here's
not
the
there at
thing.
The
all.
good Lord take him.
No, but-
Different from if he...
It's the
No,
same
it's
thing.
the same thing.
Same
No
thing.
longer
The
good
good
Lord
Lord take him
scenario.
away
He
from
hurt
you.
my chest.
Yeah.
I can forgive the Lord.
No, you
I
can't.
can forgive. If he leave me, Sharice, and leave me after become a high value woman, and I just bring peace
Well,
and
if you're a
love to
high
your life.
value, if you're a
If you're
high
a high
I
value
bring
woman,
peace
woman,
to your life.
No,
and
if
he
you're
leave
a
me
high
for
if
us.
you
woman.
are a high value woman, you will be shoveling high value men off your doorstep.
Because even
Let us
to the-
repeat that.
Hey!
If you're a high
shoveling them.
value woman,
You would be shoveling high value men off your doorstep. You would be
I hear that.
hoping and praying that you not be seen and noticed because it's a nuisance now.
Correct. You go on and you mind
You would
your
like
business.
you would like a little brick.
You're sitting
And that's
and
where the
having a
although
glass.
time
Everybody
would-
wants
Yes.
you.
You
The
don't
low
care to
and
be
the high.
alone.
And you know why everybody wants you? Because you have taken care of yourself from an internal point.
You have
that there's
invested
a
in you.
shine.
it exudes.
Yes, on
Exudes
everything,
off of you. So
on
now
everything.
You are
So you
like
don't
a
try.
you don't try. You're like a
You
magnet.
attract.
You're attract.
I wonder if there's a high value man calling me.
Let me see if it's a high value man. Answer. Is it a high value man?
Speaker.
Is it a high value man?
I think time is up.
Let's hear it.
Let me wrap it up with a high value and non-high value.
He ain't high value. He's taking too long.
I'm on the podcast. We want to know if you're a high value man or a non-high value man.
What you say?
He's a high value man.
Another vibes. Another vibes. Another
Why
vibes.
you ain't not high value? Drop the podcast here now. You're the man element. That's the high value. The low value step.
We don't call names.
There's a low value step or a high value step. A high value. Right. Okay.
Well, since he said that, let me say this.
Right. Because we have to round up our segment.
Never made a low value man. Eh?
Right.
Amen.
Every man is
Because
high
everybody has
value.
value.
Yes.
That's
But
how we cultivate
choices.
it.
But it's the type of woman that these low value men, these so-called low value men, have around them that can bring out the high value qualities out of them. Every single man has the capability to become high value.
You know that song like Cherise?
Tell me.
We need a part 2.
I
Of
feel
course.
so.
I think.
How do we-
You know what that sounds like?
Because
to
we
me?
touched on the woman.
It sounds like faith over feelings, men.
Yes. Because you see, if there's a particular guy that sat here some time ago that's
Oh,
something.
I think it's time. It's time.
Yeah, it's
It's
time. We're coming to the
Time.
second part for that.
Time.
No, the things that he said.
Guys, that was this episode of...
Yeah.
What's the slogan?
Faith
Faith
over
over
feelings.
Faith over feelings. The ladies edition. And you know, we need to have the men's edition. Thank you for watching.
Thank
Get
you for
ready.
having us.